There's a stretch of Interstate 72 in central Illinois where the cell towers quit and the corn grows so tall it blocks out the stars. Locals don't stop on that road at night. They know better. Mara Cole didn't know better. She left the work party in Decatur at 2:30. A little too much wine, a little too much of her boss's voice, and decided she'd rather drive home at midnight than sleep in a hotel that smelled like someone else's breakfast. The Honda died at 3:47 in the morning. No warning lights, no sputtering, just nothing, like someone reached under the hood and unplugged the whole machine. She sat there for a moment, gripping the steering wheel, listening to the wind move through the corn. There is something about that sound, the dry, papery rustle of 10,000 corn stalks in the dark, that does not sound like wind at all. It sounds like breathing. She lit her one emergency flare, stepped out onto the shoulder, and waited. She told herself she'd wait 15 minutes. If no one came, she'd start walking toward the last exit she remembered, 8, maybe 10 miles back. She was 4 minutes into that wait when the headlights appeared. A dark blue Ford F-150, very clean, slowed down and stopped. The passenger window rolled down. The man behind the wheel was somewhere in his 50s, wearing a feed store cap and a flannel jacket. He had the face of someone's grandfather, calm eyes, nothing threatening about him at all. He said his name was Dale. He said there was a Shell station about 12 miles ahead. He said, "Hop in, I'll take you there." And Mara, because the corn was breathing and the dark was absolute and there were no other choices, got in the truck. The truck smelled like pie air freshener. Country radio played at a volume just loud enough to fill the silence without demanding attention. Dale drove with both hands on the wheel, eyes forward, completely at ease. He told her he'd been visiting his sister in Springfield. He asked about her work. He offered her a granola bar from the glove box. Mara started to relax. She almost laughed at herself, all that fear, and here was just a decent man doing a decent thing on an empty road in the middle of the night. She opened the glove box. The granola bar was there. So was something else. A small laminated card, a St. Christopher medallion taped to it, patron saint of travelers. She turned it over in her hands. Dale told her his late wife had put it there 20 years ago, that he'd moved it to every car he'd owned since, that it felt wrong to leave it behind. It was such a human thing to say, such a gentle, ordinary thing. Mara put the card back and looked out the window. The corn blurred past at 60 miles an hour, and then, for just a moment, she saw a figure standing at the tree line, standing perfectly still, facing the road, watching the truck go by. She turned to look. Gone. Just corn. "You're tired," she told herself. "You're seeing things." She checked the clock on the dashboard to see how far they'd come. It was the air fresheners that broke her open. She'd noticed the first one when she got in, a little pine tree hanging from the rear-view mirror, standard enough. But now, as she sat in the hum of the cab, she saw a second one clipped to the visor, then a third, more faded, a fourth, nearly colorless, tucked behind the sun visor like it had been there for years. She counted 7 of them in total, each one older than the last, lined up like a timeline of trips, like a collection. She turned in her seat, scanning the cab the way you scan a room when something feels wrong, but you can't name it yet. And then she found it. Scratched into the plastic panel behind her headrest, tiny letters, the kind you'd make with a thumbnail or a house key if you needed to leave something behind without being seen. She angled her phone flashlight.
Mara was here. Her own name. She stopped breathing. She looked at her hands. Under the thumbnail of her right hand, dried, dark at the edge, blood. She didn't remember cutting herself. She rubbed at it. It didn't come off. She asked Dale to pull over. He did, without argument, without suspicion, with the easy compliance of someone who has done this before, who has pulled over on this shoulder before, on this stretch of road, at this hour. She stood outside in the cold, and she scrolled back through her phone. The work party photos, her colleagues mid-laugh, the parking lot, the highway, and then a photo she had not taken. A dark blue F-150 on the side of a road. Her own hand, she could see the sleeve of her jacket, reaching for the passenger door handle. Timestamp, 3:47 a.m. She looked at the photo. She looked at the truck. Identical. Dale leaned across the seat and opened the passenger door for her. He smiled. He looked like someone's grandfather. "Ready? Cold out there." And because the corn was everywhere, the Shell station appeared out of the dark like something that had always been there, waiting. Fluorescent lights, empty pumps, a handwritten sign in the window, open 24 hours. No other cars, no sound except the buzz of the lights and the idle of Dale's truck as he pulled in. He said, "Ask for Roy. He keeps a landline." Mara went inside. The station smelled like stale coffee and old plastic, hot dog rollers spinning with nothing on them, Mylar balloons sagging in the corner, and behind the counter an old man, Roy, thin, in his 70s, wearing a vest covered in small pins, each one a different roadside attraction from across the American Midwest. He looked up when she came in. He did not look surprised. She told him about her car. She told him Dale had given her a lift. She asked about the landline. Roy looked past her, through the window, at the idling truck, at Dale, who sat with both hands on the wheel, facing forward, waiting. Dale raised one hand, not quite a wave. Roy said, "Dale brought you in." Not a question. He put the phone on the counter, and then he put his hand over hers before she could pick it up. He asked her, quietly, barely above a whisper, "How many times?" She didn't understand the question. "How many times has Dale brought you in tonight?" He reached under the counter and set down a composition notebook, coffee-stained, dog-eared, the kind you'd find in any American schoolroom. He opened it to a page near the back. A list of names, dates, all the same date, tonight. She found her own name immediately. Mara Cole. Written 4 times, 4 separate entries, same night, same road, same hour. Outside, Dale's engine idled on. The fluorescent light above them flickered once, like a blink. Mara asked Roy what was happening to her. He told her he didn't know the whole of it, only that they came through at 3:47, only that Dale was always the one who brought them, and only that the ones who figured it out, before the clock moved, they got to leave. She asked if anyone ever had. Roy didn't answer. He turned to the last entry of her name in the notebook, and one line below it, written in different ink, in handwriting that was unmistakably, impossibly hers, were 4 words: "Do not get back in the car." She had no memory of writing it. Outside, the truck horn tapped once, polite, patient. Roy slid a set of keys across the counter, old Ford keys. He told her there was a truck out back. He told her to stay on the county road, not to stop for anything, and not to check the time until she saw other headlights coming toward her. She took the keys. She didn't ask again whether anyone had made it. She already knew what his silence meant. She went out the back. The brown pickup was under a tree, exactly where Roy said it would be. She got in. She didn't look at the time. She started the engine and pulled out onto the gravel road heading east, away from the highway, away from Dale's idling truck, away from the corn and the dark and the thing that lived inside the hour of 3:47. She drove. The darkness thinned. Not sunrise, too early for that, but a gray loosening at the edges of the sky, the kind of gray that means the night is tired. And then, far ahead, 2 headlights, coming the other direction, real headlights, moving, belonging to someone living inside a normal hour of a normal night. She exhaled for what felt like the first time in years. She checked the clock, 4:01 a.m. In her rearview mirror, just road, just dark, just the last few stars going out over the flat Illinois plain. She kept driving. She didn't stop until she could see the glow of a town on the horizon. She didn't tell anyone what happened. Who would she tell? What would she say? But she never drove at night again. And she never, for the rest of her life, accepted a ride from a stranger on a road where the corn grew taller than the streetlights and the clocks had no reason to lie. Somewhere behind her, on Interstate 72, a dark blue F-150 sat idling on the shoulder, waiting for the next pair of hazard lights, waiting for 3:47. A truck horn taps once, polite, patient, then silence. This has been the 3:47. Drive safe.